Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Chasing Creativity. This is Kiran Manral, and today I have with me as a guest is an old friend, a very talented writer, and now director, to-be director, Pankaj. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kiran. Thanks for
So good to
inviting.
have you here. Finally, we meet after almost over 10 years of
Yes.
living in the same city and never meeting.
I remember that was in Jim Corbett,
That's right.
Kumau Lit Fest. Yeah.
That's right. And you came there as an author. But before that, Pankaj, you've had a very checkered, interesting career. You've come from a small town. You just mentioned the small town you came from. From there, you've been all over the place. You've gone to all the major metros in India, to London itself, where you began your career in the BBC.
True that. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about that journey of Pankaj, the young boy from Chaibasa to London to the BBC.
Thank you so much. So I was born in Ranchi, but I grew up in Chaibasa, that's in West Indian, now in Jharkhand. So my father was posted there, and he was a professor, English literature, Tata College, and I grew up over there. It was quite an interesting place. It still is an interesting place, a small town of my childhood memories, and I keep visiting there. I launch all my books there. So over there, initially, our only window to learn language, Hindi, was the shows coming on Doordarshan. English was in place, manageable, because of my father, and we had quite an interesting demographic profile over there. People were because strategically, geographically, Chaibasa is very close to West Bengal and Orissa as well. So we had sizable population from West Bengal, from Orissa. So I can speak and understand Bangla. I can understand Oriya, but I can't speak Oriya.
Okay.
But yeah, and Hindi and a little bit of Ho.
Okay.
Ho is a tribal language.
Tribal.
I have many friends from the Ho tribe.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have different script, different language altogether. And then, of course, so from there, because always imagination was the key factor. So I always wanted to make it big. And since my childhood, fame was quite fascinating. So I used to think, I'll go somewhere, I'll go out, I'll go to maybe Delhi, and then I used to chase seniors who would be in Delhi, who would come during their summer vacations. Ki, please come to meet my father and we'll discuss about my plans. And they would come and discourage कि नहीं नहीं अभी तो बहुत छोटा है, थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाए तब after 12th maybe.
Okay.
But that time came, then I came to Delhi, and I was not at all brilliant academically. I was quite an average scorer, but I was quite confident all the time with my share of logic, and I was a debater all my life. So I used to think कि यार दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में तो एवरेज स्टूडेंट्स भी जाते ही होंगे ना. Every student studying in Delhi schools, they don't get 95%. वहाँ भी 70% वाले होते होंगे ना. So why can't I go? और काबुल में भी गधे होते हैं, तो मैं गधा ही सही. So this self-deprecating humor, worked always. And then I got a chance, and I joined a college called Satyavati Evening with history honors. And from there, the debating continued, because Delhi University is quite a fertile land for students interested in co-curricular activities, be it debating, theatre, elocutions, creative writing, and all of that. And from there, then I got through the Campus Law Center. I'm also a law graduate.
Okay.
So that was an entrance they organize all India level. And then I got through that, joined CLC. Idea was not to be a lawyer, because I had read it in all my history books that all the big achievers were also lawyers.
Oh.
All the freedom fighters were also lawyers. So I thought it's going to be a good option for my career. 1, 2, I'll get 3 more years in the university, so I can keep contesting in debates, keep participating in debates. So I finished my law and I did film studies from Jamia. And that was the time when I used to be in a place, Mukherjee Nagar, where I used to think that here the students, all the students, if you categorize them, were only of 2 types. Category 1 was of students who were preparing for civil services, and category 2 was students who were preparing to prepare for civil services.
Okay.
So they would be known by the optional subjects they had in civil services कि जो उनका geography anthro है वो sociology वाले भैया को बुलाओ वो सर anthropology वाले हैं उनसे बात कर लेते हैं with law. So it was quite an interesting ecosystem. But then I thought, and that was the time I met my girlfriend, my friend who became my girlfriend and who is my wife now. And we had hundreds of hours of discussions. And we discussed that for me, the right field is media, mass comm. And I have been debating. By then, I had won 5 nationals and I had represented India.
In the debating.
In the debating
space.
Yeah, and I was bilingual, so I was
fluent with both the languages.
Both the languages. So then I got through one of the universities in England, Coventry University, Coventry School of Art and Design, to do my masters in applied communications. And I flew off, and over there. A different journey was there, and then I tried to get through the BBC World Service, and I made it, and I joined as a broadcaster. So it just went on happening, and I was always self-motivated.
Lovely.
Yeah.
A lot of us aren't, so we should take heat from you, Pankaj, because we keep on, okay, kuch nahi ho raha hai, koi baat nahi. But this is very interesting. And that you went to the BBC and you went into media, and media is a very different beast from what you do right now.
Oh yes.
Of course, there is storytelling, but that is storytelling based on facts. Right now, you're a storyteller based on imagination and based on fiction. What made you decide to leave media to get into the space of pure storytelling, I would say?
So I consider everything under media. That was non-fiction. This is fiction. So after coming back from London to Delhi, after watching Shah Rukh Khan's Swadesh,
so we have Shah Rukh to blame for you coming back.
No, I'm quite happy about it. So I thought मैं भी चल के बल्ब जलाता हूँ इधर. तो वो तो दोस्तों के बीच सुनाने के लिए कहानी है. That's a story. But actually उस समय the plan was to do some journalism in India. So यहाँ पे आके I was with Channel 7 for some time, which is IBN 7, and then some other name has come now, Network 18 I think. Then I joined Aaj Tak, and after joining these places in India, I thought, how is it different from fiction?
How is it? That's a very valid question, Pankaj.
So when I said...
It's a very weighted, loaded question.
Yeah. So I thought, if I have to do fiction, better say that. Say I want to do fiction and do fiction. Don't say I'm doing news and do fiction. Yeah. So, and the system was so good when I was with TV Today, that any 10th grader could also go and work over there because of their process. The process is really good, quite robust. The system is good. So I thought my contribution is not needed. And enough of covering others. I wanted to be covered. So I took that. I attained moksha from news. And I thought of doing something else. And then I resigned. And after that, I wanted to come to Bombay. But I knew many people. Nobody knew me. So I thought I should develop some network. I should watch some films. And to do that, I thought of curating film festivals.
Okay.
But the question was, who is going to give me job? Because I had not done that before.
Without the experience, and curating a film festival is quite a
task.
Challenge.
So then I thought of initiating India's first street film festival for children in slums and villages.
Okay.
By the name of Sadak Chhap Film Festival.
Okay.
So I had an NGO I had incorporated when in college. So under that banner, Spriha, I started that. I tied up with CFSI to procure films, children's cinema, and then I would request to give me projectors. Then I would go to slums and screen films, conduct workshops. So I did that in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. When I came to Mumbai to do that for the first time, that was the time when Slumdog Millionaire had won Oscars.
Okay.
And I invited the child protagonist from the film, Rubina Ali, to do that. I screened films in Dharavi. And from there I went to Bangalore, to Ranchi, Patna, many places. And for that initiative, I got a Youth Icon Award for Social Entrepreneurship in Karnataka.
Lovely.
Or फिर many corporates reached out to me to help them curate their film festivals.
Okay.
So in 3 years' time, I did more than 50 festivals across India.
And in which space? I mean, what were these festivals? Like, this was a street film festival first.
This was one. Then you must have heard of Jagran Film Festival.
Yes, of
I was
course.
the one to start that.
Okay.
First 2 years I did, 2010 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
I was curator, a consultant from outside, of course.
Okay.
Jagran was my client. And then I did something called Pravasi Film Festival for the filmmakers of Indian origin.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, right from Meera Nair, Gurinder Chadda, and all of them, they had come to India Habitat Center in New Delhi.
Okay.
Some 36 countries participated.
Okay.
Some from here also
Lovely.
were there. So a lot of festivals happened. And by then I had sizable friends in Bombay, and I had watched few films to understand the milieu. And in the year 2012, I shifted from Delhi to Mumbai with my wife and little daughter, who is no more little now. Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So, from films and curating many film festivals, you also branched out into telling your own stories and
Yeah.
becoming a writer.
Yeah.
So, there were books. You wrote
Yeah.
your first book.
Yeah.
Then you've got on to writing scripts.
Yeah.
So, at what point and how did you realize that there were stories that you also wanted to tell rather than watch other people's stories?
Actually, this was there from the beginning.
Okay.
I did 2 films as script supervisor to learn the craft of filmmaking.
Okay.
As soon as I came here. Films for Ghan Chakkar, Disney UTVs, starring Imran Hashmi and Vidya Balan. I was script supervisor on that. And then I did a film called Chauranga. It won Best Film Award in Mami and then in IFLA, Los Angeles. So then I got a couple of more similar offers. But by then it was clear that I'm fine, I can direct. So direction was there in mind. So then the thought was, how is my story different from others and better? तब authorship का idea आया. The seeds had come in London. I have to write books. वो story उस पे वो भी बताऊंगा. That's quite दिलचस्प. उसमें क्या था? Once I was coming back from BBC World Service after my night shift, and in the morning मैंने देखा कि सेंट्रल लंदन में भीड़ लगी हुई है. A lot of people standing wearing overcoat with their coffee mugs. तो बहुत इंडिया जैसा माहौल लगा. And then I asked my cabbie to stop and find out what's happening. I was always curious. So I asked them. Most of them were Asians. कि what's happening? They said कि Harry Potter series की नई book आई है J.K. Rowling की. And as soon as the store opens, it will all get exhausted. So we are here waiting for the store to open. अभी 4 बजे थे. 8:30 shop would open. हाँ. So मुझे लगा writers are big stars in this country. And authorship मुझे लगा this is one thing which is almost under your control. Because while trying filmmaking, it's like weighing जिंदा फ्रॉग्स को तराजू में तौलने जैसा है. बिकॉज देयर आर सो मेनी वेरिएबल्स. कभी आपकी स्टोरी वैसी कोई और स्टोरी आ गई, एक्टर नहीं मिला, एक्टर मिल गया तो उसकी पिछली फिल्म फ्लॉप हो गई, प्रोड्यूसर का माइंड बदल गया, एन नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स. सो मुझे लगा यार मेरी स्टोरी को पहले लेट मी ब्रिंग इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ नॉवल. इफ आई गेट अ गुड पब्लिशर, मतलब there is some acceptability. So the biggest name I could think of was Penguin, and I reached out to them and they liked the story, and they came up with an idea कि will give you very little advance royalty. I said यार आप मुझसे मांगते तो भी मैं दे देता. You are giving me an opportunity. So I got this 2 language deal. They thought कि तुम दोनों languages में लिखो originally. और मुझे भी ये interesting लगा because I had not seen anyone doing that. तो I did my first book, What a Loser, and then Loser Kahin Ka. It's set in the North Campus of Delhi University. So in the name of romance, I do my share of socio-political undercurrents, commentary.
Okay.
Or it's largely a conflict of identity of a small towner coming to a metropolis. What a loser. It's a satire. तो वो कर ली. फिर वो अच्छा, it did well. So then they asked me, my editors, कि okay, you keep on trying your film thing, write the next one. And they gave me 2 more, rather 4 more books.
Okay.
Deal. So I wrote another one. I created a new word called Ishkiyapa, to hell with love, and it was quite interesting. Set, it had politics and love set in the darker part of Bihar, where kidnapping was an industry, and love for politics and politics of love. Everything was there. Then Ekta Kapoor picked that to make a web series, Balaji. Then happened Love Curry. That was set in the diaspora setup in England. Then Trending in Love. That was set in the IS Academy of Missouri. And the latest one is called One String Attached. That's a period setup. It's set in Ayodhya and Delhi. Between the demolition of a mosque and the Commonwealth Games. It's a love story of a tailor.
So lovely. So all your books have, while the socio-political commentary is in place, love is a constant element.
Yes.
So is that a fulcrum on which you sort of build on all your narratives?
Yeah. I'm a practitioner of romance, and I feel that love can solve most of the problems we have. People have stopped loving. When I say love, it's not just between a boy and a girl, or a boy and a boy, or a girl or a girl. It's about being in that, romantic frame of mind. Then the way you look at things, problems and communication gaps is quite different. It makes you a better person, I believe.
Okay.
When you look at things lovingly, it helps solve things better.
What is your writing process like, Pankaj?
So, my process is, I'm quite character driven. So, I'm quite observant. And if any character in society fascinates me, I delve deep. And I see whether the elements of that character stay with me for some time. And then I start plotting around that. In my novels, in my stories, say there are 5 characters, but they're not from 5 real characters, but maybe from 12 real characters. I have assimilated 12 real characters into 5 fictional characters.
Okay.
I may take some elements of character A, some from B, and I can create a C.
Okay.
So my writing process is character driven.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the plot happens, and then.
Okay. So is the plot organic, or do you sort of, once you have your character in place and you start writing, do you do your synopsis chapter wise and work it out, or you just let's see where the character goes और क्या होता है इसके साथ?
दोनों है थोड़ा थोड़ा. First I write a short story.
Okay.
कि ये कैरेक्टर है, इसकी कहानी क्या होगी, उसका बिगिनिंग मिडल एंड क्या होगा. फिर मुझे लगता है ये तो बहुत कम है, इसको इस मोड़ पे समवन एल्स ऑल्सो मेट, या इसकी ज़िंदगी में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कम है, कुछ और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्या हो सकता है. सो आई राइट अ से 20 पेज short story, and then I elaborate the outline. फिर I chapterize, but I'm not then restricted to that as well. बहुत indisciplined हूँ उस format को तोड़ने के लिए भी. I create that to help me, but when I see if it's flowing organically and the new flow is better than the already thought out outline, I ditch
Okay.
the outline. एकदम से break up, आगे बढ़ो.
So it's not hard and fast for you.
No.
Because I guess also because the genre is such that you can't take the liberty. If you're writing crime, then you wouldn't be able to do that. You would have to stick to the...
Yeah, of course. Because that's quite, formula oriented also.
Yeah.
In
and
crime.
You need your red herrings. You need to know who's the murderer and everything. Lovely. Screenwriting is a very different ballgame from writing a book.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of screenwriting, which is very different, that most people who are writing books or plan to write both don't realize?
Actually, I am an author just by chance. I'm basically a screenwriter.
Okay.
So when you read my books, or those who read my book, they find it very screenplay-ish.
Okay.
Because scenes are there and you can imagine a world.
Okay.
So I know I'm going to face a lot of challenge when I'm going to make a film, because all my readers have a different film of my books in their head. They'll start comparing their films in their head with the one I'm going to make. And then they'll reject me. कि यार ये वाली जो मैंने सोची थी वो better है.
And that's the case with every book, Pankaj. It's
that's
not,
there.
I mean, if you...
That's adaptation की challenge है वो.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you look at something as magnificent as Lord of the Rings, it still falls short of your imagination.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, as a writer who has crossed both these genres and both these kinds of writing, writing for screen as well as writing a book in which the reader has to use the imagination.
Yes.
And writing for screen where things are depicted, so the imagination is not used.
Yeah.
What do you think a writer should keep in mind? What are the differences?
No, I think the writer should just keep in mind the purpose.
Okay.
What is the purpose of that content they are creating?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to get it adapted into that medium?
Mm-hmm.
तो वो अपने आप आने लगती चीज़ें.
Mm-hmm.
Then you stop writing कि the bag was black.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it's there.
It's not
It's there.
descriptive is not needed.
Not needed. Because if you go by classical texts in books, वहाँ you have all the liberties कि आप एक description में you can spend a lot of time and pages, and readers are also lying down reading for hours. But now the biggest challenge with the writers is attention span is coming down.
Mm-hmm.
If it's boring, people won't read it because they have n number of options and they're disturbing mobile, n number of apps they use. So the challenge is to keep it intriguing. Otherwise, they'll not read it. They'll read the blurb, right? Wow, Kiran, what a book you have written. But they don't read.
They won't read the book.
Yeah, that's a big problem. So you have to have hangers, and you have to have everything that interests them, your target readers. So I come back to the point from where I started. The purpose has to be clear in the minds of the writer.
Okay.
Why do we write? Why are we writing?
What are we writing for?
Yeah.
Lovely. Another thing about writing for screen versus writing a book. A book is a very solitary process.
Oh, yes.
You are in your room and you're writing this book and you're creating these characters out of nowhere. But when you're writing for screen, it's a very collaborative process.
Yes, true that.
You need to consider what inputs you may get from other people. So how does it work for you as somebody who has, of course, written your books on your own, and now when you write for screen, do you feed off that energy of the collaboration, or do you wish that you could do your own thing and then take it forward to the next person?
So till one level, up to one level, you do on your own.
Okay.
Because it's your vision. You should be very clear about your brief, even if a team is there. Ki what do we want? What do we intend? What kind of emotions we want to emote? What is the conflict? What is the resolution? That all has to be in place. Uske baad, all the ideas are welcome. Then you sit in a writer room. And then you discuss. Sometimes good plot points may also come. One has to be open to accept if it's working in favor of the story and the impact.
Okay.
So that democratization is there in writing a screenplay. That is there. And because the purpose is different again. वहाँ तो फिल्म बनानी है. वहाँ पे बहुत हमें कहीं भी हम लोग मिस नहीं कर सकते इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ों को. We'll have to keep on working again and
fine-tuning
again. Fine-tuning it, improvising it.
That's very interesting. When you're writing a film, now you're going to be directing a film that you've written also yourself, taking your own vision to screen. That's a challenge because very often when you're writing it, you have something in your head, but then technical issues or, translating a vision and imagination onto screen, as we just discussed, that adaptations are very difficult to do. But taking your own work and adapting it for screen, have you found that process difficult? Have you found challenges in that? Do you find something that you never even thought about earlier when you were writing?
No, because this activity was of primary importance for me. I moved to Bombay to make films.
Okay.
Okay. So everything was happening around this. Writing also, publishing also happened because making a film was taking time, and I wanted my story to get accepted. So the authorship, I never grew up thinking I'll be a published author someday. So I have to tell stories, and I'm platform agnostic. So I feel they have an edge. Films have an edge over books because you can reach out to more people. You can reach out to people who can't even read. You can reach out to people who don't have time to read. They are flying and flight में देख लेंगे, train में देख लेंगे, घूमते हुए देख लेंगे, mobile पे देख लेंगे. So for my stories to reach out to more and more people, this medium fascinated me quite a lot. So I worked hard to learn the craft. That's why I did those films I did. I directed a short film, I told you. I
Yes.
produced a couple of short films for my friends. So I have been practicing all of this. And on the basis of the good performance of my short film, the producers spotted me to direct a feature film,
Lovely.
which is going to happen soon.
Tell us a bit more about this.
Yeah, so this is a social satire. The primary story has been written by my friend Puneet Sharma, and then we collaborated. And it's a social satire in the thriller space, and it's set in Delhi. So this is what I can tell you now. And because we are in the casting process, once it's signed and all, everything is done, the actors are locked. We'll announce, because I believe in spreading awareness about around my projects.
Lovely. And where Bombay is all about money and commerce,
Yeah.
Delhi is politics.
Politics.
So did you have to research this environment, and how did you get to the nitty-gritty of this very, I mean, you lived there for a while, I know,
Yeah.
but were you in that political space, or did you have to research it up?
Oh yes, even while doing journalism, I was.
You were there,
Yeah,
yeah.
And this, when I say social satire, this is, of course, set in Delhi, but it's quite universal.
Okay.
It's quite universal. It could happen in Bombay, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, anywhere, in Kolkata, anywhere.
Okay. So it's not
No.
it's
So
very specific.
Delhi has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
But the success, the big city, the professional success, I don't want to reveal more about the story.
Sure, lovely. We'll look forward to watching it then, Pankaj. As somebody who is a creative person, there's always this point where you sort of you get burnt out. Yeah,
I've heard about it.
but you've not experienced it.
Not yet.
Okay. Then what is your secret of not getting burnt out?
The passion to chase my dreams, and I believe in diversity of dreams. I feel that everyone should keep on upgrading their dreams, because when we dream of something, say I dreamt of something when I was 16, and when I'm 26 I'm still chasing that. By then the world, the trends and requirements of life, everything has changed. Your intellect has changed, your aesthetics has changed. So we should keep on upgrading our dreams as well. We should have diversified dreams. So there are so many things in our imagination. Because I'm always pro imagination. When I have to pick between knowledge and imagination,
Okay.
I'm pro imagination, because I have always felt that knowledge somehow it makes people a little arrogant. When they interact with people who don't know certain things in any area, they feel a little arrogant. Oh, you don't know this. This expression I feel uncomfortable with. So I think the purpose of knowledge is getting defeated. It is there to make you a better person. The purpose is not to make you an arrogant person. So I feel knowledge is there after the advent of Google and other search engine. You can look for potato chips to computer chips. Everything is there in Google. I don't know why do people. You ask for phone numbers and people don't share. And when they share the phone numbers of other people, they'll say, "Don't say that I have given." No one cares. You can get every info everywhere. It's there in public domain. So then I thought, okay, knowledge is there, but let me chase imagination. Because I feel if we can ignite imagination, that's the knowledge of future. We can do a lot of things. So
It's very interesting,
Yeah.
this point about knowledge over imagination, especially in this age of AI.
yeah.
So what AI does have, it has all the knowledge, but it does not have imagination.
Yes. क्योंकि AI का तो ना तो दिल टूटा है ना चेक बाउंस हुआ है. Yeah.
How do creative people survive in the age of AI?
No, they are just going to be our assistants. They are not going to replace us. Mark my words. AI सिर्फ आपका एक इंटर्न का पैसा कम करेगा, जिसको पहले हम लोग सर्च करने बोलते थे. Of late, we have started thinking Google search को लोग अब research बोलने लगे हैं. That's again a big problem.
Yeah.
So एक इंटर्न के बदले आ जाएगा, एक अच्छा असिस्टेंट बनेगा, but AI can never replace you.
The creative, the human brain.
Yeah.
Okay, because the emotions are not associated.
Emotions are not there. Situations, उनका ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं कि उनकी गर्लफ्रेंड उनके बेस्ट फ्रेंड के साथ चली गई। एआई के साथ कहाँ हुआ ऐसा? उसका चेक बाउंस हो गया, हुआ ही नहीं। वो कैसे समझाएगा एआई कि नहीं पैसे हैं अकाउंट में, वो रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन चेक बाउंस हो गया। These life interpersonal situations are not there. So I don't agree with the fact that it's going to replace the creative minds of society. It's not going to happen. वो जो public domain में वही दिखाता है.
So as they say, घी शक्कर आपके मुंह में कि नहीं हो. What's coming next from you in the written space?
So this is another story, but now what has happened? I have done 10 so far, 5 stories, 10 titles in 2 languages, and the purpose is to adapt, and things are there in different stages. Now I'm also contemplating to interact with someone some studio to do both the things simultaneously for the next work. So the book should come when it's up in the audio visual format.
Okay. So both would not cannibalize on each other, you think?
No, they are going to have brand synergies.
Okay. That's a very interesting thought.
Yeah.
And you're also doing something in the podcast space.
Oh yes, my first podcast I did, Old School Romance, it's there on Audible. It's I have talked to some 12 celebrity couples from different walks of life who believe in old school romance. It's there on Audible. And these days I'm doing another one. It's called Small Towns, Big Stories. So interesting stories and inspiring stories of small towners, and where small town is not a geographical identity, but a lot of other things. Thinking, the mindset, the facilities around, and all of that. There can be a rural pocket around Mumbai only. Because one of my guests is from Ulhasnagar, which is so close to Mumbai.
Yeah.
But he had to suffer a lot to reach where he has reached, and his story is so inspiring. He's a filmmaker, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You have so many different projects going on, and I wonder how you segregate your attention to that. Hats off to you. Thank you so much, Pankaj, for your time. Thanks for taking time out for this conversation.
Thank you, Kiran. Lovely talking to you.
All the best for the movie, for the podcast, and anything else coming up that we should know about?
I don't know. Podcast has been covered. Books are there. Movies are there.
What else is left out?
Because, yes, these are all different platforms.
Yeah.
And as I initially said, I'm platform agnostic. So the only common thread is stories.
Yeah.
Stories. So, yeah.
So waiting for more stories from you, Pankaj. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Kiran. Thanks.